Nowadays, when you look at an artwork online, what is the first thing you notice? Is it the characters, the colors, the gigantuous boobas, or are you counting fingers? 𝗖𝗍, are you saying that people are so unemployed that they start counting fingers when a new art gets posted? Well, apparently that is where we are now, so the answer is yes. A hand looks slightly off, and suddenly everyone turns into an analyst. They're zooming in and drawing circles like their life depends on it. If they lose this Twitter debate, Elon Musk is going nuclear on their homes. And if something doesn't perfectly realistically line up, they go straight into the verdict. And the weird part about this, in my opinion, that standard isn't applied equally. Sometimes people overanalyze everything, and sometimes they don't question anything at all, depending on who's being judged. And so recently there was a situation that made this difference very obvious. It got so huge that the entire gacha space is talking about it, but it wasn't anything serious really. The most interesting thing about it is how people reacted to it. But before that, if you find these kinds of videos entertaining or informative in any way, feel free to smash that like button and subscribe. Hit the notification bell icon to stay updated with my videos. Join the Discord server to be super parasocial with me. And so it all started when Genshin Impact did their scheduled live stream for the version 6.5 updates. There are new areas, new characters. Apparently old characters are coming into the story, so that's great. Some might say nostalgia bait, huh? Don't cancel me, but anyways, somebody on Twitter reposted the official promotional artwork for it. Nothing too crazy here. I mean, the image itself looks nice, right? I see Beidou there, so maybe I'm biased. She is one of my favorite characters back then. But you know, when you start zooming in, that is when it starts getting weird. If you look closely at the emergency food 𝗵𝗁's hand, it doesn't look quite right, does it? More specifically, she has 6 fingers, guys. She's not Sukuna, okay? She's not meant to have more than 5 fingers on one hand. And you know what? I did my due diligence. I went to the live stream myself to check if I got baited by misinformation. And oh, holy femboy, it actually got worse. In the live stream, the EN version, it looks like there is an extra hand layered underneath. Some people said that it had 10 fingers, but zoom in yourself. Brother, that doesn't even look like fingers. Bro has 2 palms, and I don't even know how to describe that. What is this mess? And now on paper, technically speaking, coping level maximum 100 here, you could argue that, hey, the artist messed it up. It's an honest mistake. I mean, God gave me a 3rd leg, if you know what I mean. Maybe there is a lore reason for it. The original post ended up getting millions of views. The quote tweets and the comments were just flooding in non-stop. Even Nerumero, the Japanese content creator that got a really big drama with Genshin Impact a few months back, decided to check it out for himself. No way, right? So I came back. 𝗵𝗁's got 6 fingers, lol. I'm telling you, this artwork really took center stage for Genshin Impact in probably the worst light possible, or the most revealing light possible. Tons of mockery, screenshots, people actually putting numbers on the fingers like, okay, maybe some people have too much time on their hands, eh? Get it?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
This guy said 𝗖𝗍𝗏 has its own laws, right? Which, if you have been around this community for a while, you already know what that means. The joke is that because Genshin shills main defense for the lack of quality of life updates, and all of the other flaws in the game has, they always relate it back into the lore. There are lore reasons. They love to say that to defend the game, as if that justifies anything. This is a post mocking the irony of it because, like, come on guys, what is the lore reason for 6 fingers? Did 𝗵𝗁 just evolve like a Pokemon? Like the original poster quote tweeted themselves, and bro just said, oh, like bro legit don't know what else to say. They is flabbergasted, and that oh also got millions of views and likes. Like, this is going crazy. And now if this was just some small drawing error, like the people defending it constantly says, this would just fade away like the hairs of men in their late 50s. But this one didn't move on. This amount of mockery and witch hunts didn't just spawn out of nowhere. The reason is because it is not really about the artwork itself, it is about the people behind it. For some people, it was the day that the bullies get back what they are dishing out. And for a very specific fandom of the gacha community, it is revenge. revenge. It might feel sudden to you, but it is a long brewing hatred, enduring the constant bullying, waiting for the time to strike back. There has been this ongoing tension in the gacha space, especially between the communities of Genshin Impact and Wuthering Waves. Anytime Wuthering Waves puts out something slightly off, whether it's character designs relatively being too catered for the male audience, performance issues, mostly exaggerated, or even making complete lies out of it, or just general polish, like sometimes a few lines in the story quest feels weak. They don't just criticize it, they scrutinize it, up to the very nitpicky details. It doesn't matter if the majority of the quest feels peak, if 10 seconds out of the 3 hours of gameplay is not that good. Am I right, guys? Is anyone with me here? I hope not, Jesus. Heck, they don't even have to play the game at all. They just need to parrot the misinformation, make it widespread, and eventually people will start believing it. The way they keep dragging the mistakes and flaws of the launch version of the game up to this day, over a year later, making it seem like it's the same exact game with no improvements at all, is baffling, but it works. Like, you don't get it. Even the stupidest arguments you could possibly think of reached even the regions that don't speak English very well, like Japan. I made a whole video about it like a week ago, or I don't know how long this video gets posted, but the guy literally said, when Genshin does it, it is a respectful homage to the original works. But when Wuthering Waves does it, it's plagiarism. It's a ripoff. This is your typical Twitter rage bait that reached Japan. And guess what? This is just a fraction of what the Genshin community does on a daily basis. So now, when you have Genshin putting out official art where a main character's hand looks objectively freaking weird, what people are seeing here isn't just a mere drawing error. They're seeing the same type of issue that has been used by these Hoyo shills to discredit other games. Like, open your eyes, man. If this exact thing showed up in Wuthering Waves, you'd already know what the outcome will be. But since this is happening in Genshin Impact, the response is so protective. They are treating the multi-billion-dollar nuclear reactor owning company like babies. I mean, I don't know what I expected, but man, I wish they kept the same energy when they were berating Wuthering Waves, you know? It is just the drawing error is the most common defense. Like, these defense comments all have thousands of likes. It is insane. Obviously, we won't know the validity of this statement. I mean, nobody knows whether it's true or not, unless Hoyoverse themselves speak out about this, something they have never done before unless there is a lawsuit directed at them. But the sheer amount of people defending this is staggering, because you know goddamn well that if this happens to Wuthering Waves, they would not think twice. These people would just jump straight into the conclusion, and that is the problem. We are talking about issues of the same category, and if you justify the works for Genshin Impact, you gotta do the same for Wuthering Waves. WuWa has never had anything like this happen before, and they got a worse reaction. It's unfair, and that is why people are calling this out. This is why the drama became so big, because from the outside, it looks like the rules change depending on which game is being judged. If it's Genshin, they give the benefit of the doubt, assume good intent. If it's Wuthering Waves, they would assume the worst. What is that phrase again? Oh, I know. Repeat after me, chatter. Rules for thee, but not for me. There it is. And you know what? You don't even have to imagine how, if this weird hand art drama were to ever happen in Wuthering Waves, because it already happened. A Zenless Zone Zero, allegedly content creator and self-proclaimed ex-WuWa player, thank God he's not in WuWa anymore, caused a little bit of drama by claiming Wuthering Waves was using AI-generated art. Why? Well, fuck Soul looked at official WuWa artwork of characters and claimed the hands looked weird as shit and must be AI because he could only count 3 fingers. Verbatim, he said,
like, even this is 3 fucking fingers. It's 3 fingers. 1, 2, 3. Where's the 4th? Look, we know for a fucking fact WuWa uses AI.
He ignored the 2 fingers that has gloves in it and somehow missed the 2 fingers that were clearly there. And you know, it's fucking weird how nowadays, instead of appreciating art, we go counting fingers. He got called out on Twitter for it, and just as I said, there is no benefit of the doubt being put here. Straight into the conclusion, must be AI generated. The other fingers were there. They were just covered by gloves, or hidden by the angle, or blended into the lighting. This is basic stuff, guys. People pointed that out and called him out on it. this is such an obvious blatant mistake being presented as a fact. But that is not what happened. Fox Soul, when he saw the absolute dunk and fact check, instead of acknowledging faults, bro doubled down. Bruh, WuWa is made with AI. The fact is that it is not far-fetched either way with use of arts and AI when the game does uses AI, and Kuro been transparent about it. Proof? What? Since when did WuWa ever confirm or deny that? And then bro attached 2 pictures of hands. He thought he proved something. This tells us absolutely nothing. You know what this does prove though? That you have no idea what you're talking about, bro. Did I say Kuro is using AI? No, I said it is possible.
WuWa uses AI, but it's not far-fetched to think that even the artwork is AI when the entire fucking game is made with AI. Look, we know for a fucking fact WuWa uses AI.
See, now that's some bullshit.
And there it is. For a fact? You said we know for a fact? Who is we? Are you speaking French right now? Like, oui. Like, who is we? Like clockwork, bro got obliterated by corrections. Ex-WuWa player, yeah, I'm not taking you seriously, Lamau. Tell me you don't draw without telling me you don't draw. Bro, are you incapable to count? And that really is what it is, isn't it? They tried and they failed. When faced with proof, the arguments hold no weight. And you know what's worse? This guy got community noted, and the community note says there is 5 fingers in each hand. Short, concise, direct. Like, this is just a fraction of the misinformation these Hoyo shells push. When you can't beat the other game with real factual statements, what do? You just lie. But most of the time, that is not really the issue, isn't it? The issue is how easily the misinformation spreads before it actually gets corrected. It is not just about being wrong, it is about being wrong loudly. Because a statement made this confident, even when it's wrong, spreads incredibly fast. And once that idea is out there, even if it gets disproven later, it still sticks to some people. For the 6-fingered-𝗵𝗵𝗵, some people actually tried to prove that, hey, this is not AI. How did they prove it? They used another AI, more specifically AI detectors. Pretty ironic, I know, but hear me out. These are websites where you upload an image and it tells you whether it is AI generated or human made. So people took the 6-fingered-𝗵𝗵𝗵 official artwork from Genshin Impact, ran it through these tools and got the results. Not AI generated. Sounds convincing, right? At least for a moment. But then someone else does something really basic. They took an image that is actually AI generated and ran it through the same tool. The results? Human made. What? It also gets worse because some people took other official Hoyoverse artworks and some of them flag it as AI. So now you got a system where real art gets flagged as fake and fake art gets labeled as real. You don't know which is which. I mean, you can't trust something like this, right? It's a coin flip. It's guesswork at best. But what is the problem really, right? When it's something you agree with, it is suddenly reliable. When it's opposing the agenda you're trying to push, the tools are inaccurate. So which one is it, Sherlock Holmes? You can't treat something as trustworthy only when it benefits you. That is not how evidence works. That is how bias works. At this point, the conversation isn't really about hands or arts or even AI anymore. We know for a fact that Wuthering Waves wouldn't receive this kind of treatment. We have seen how a normal looking hand could start AI accusations, people doubling down on misinformation as facts. But when a much more obvious issue comes up in Genshin, it is excusable, understandable, hundreds of thousands of people making excuses. This isn't the first time something like this has happened either. A lot of them, and all of them brushed away. But when it is Wuthering Waves bugs at launch, you bring it up in debates over a year later. That is psychotic, my friend. They get examined under a microscope. Every frame, every detail. How is this fair at all? People making claims without checking. People editing images to make it look AI and start drama. Pushing narratives that don't line up with the original source. This is daily bread for the Wuthering Waves community, and nobody is calling it out. And guess what? When you fight back, when you do call it out, there is these fake WuWa LARPers acting like, oh, this is why I hate the WuWa community. Acting like you're so high and mighty, brother. People always talk about the reaction and not the cause of it. It's so disgusting, man. But when you really take a step back, right? Is Paimon having an extra finger such a big deal? No, not really. A hand being drawn wrong is really whatever. Sometimes it happens. Maybe Hoyoverse uses AI, in which case, are we really surprised? A corpo trying to cut costs and get more profits. Oh wow, tale as old as time. Why don't I invest test in a nuclear reactor. How people reacted to it is what matters to me. The standards aren't consistent. The same type of issue gets treated completely differently depending on where it comes from, not the nuance. And that is a big difference between it, right? Judging something differently based on nuance and judging something differently because of who does it. Like, come on. The skepticism, the doubt is selective. Having skepticism is good, of course, but here it is not applied evenly. Sometimes people question everything. Sometimes they don't question it at all. Depends on the target. When your judgment is influenced by what you already believe, you are filtering it through your preference. If you already like something, you defend it. If you already dislike something, you scrutinize it. And over time, that starts to shape how you see reality itself. And that is the real issue here. It is not whether this artwork is AI or not. It is not even about whether the mistake is big or small. Paimon could have 20 fingers and 4 hands for all I care. It is not about the arts. It is what you choose to believe when it's convenient for you. It is about how fast people arrive at their conclusion and what that conclusion depends on. Because if the exact same evidence can lead to completely different answers depending on the game, then this was never really about finding the truth. But I am curious on what you think. If this exact same artwork came from Wuthering Waves instead of Genshin Impact, would the reaction actually be the same? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, but that is all from me, 𝗖cie𝗽𝗆𝗿𝗵𝗁, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers!